got Pinnacle Peak Preparatory in Arizona. I want to send a special hello to a star student there. Hi, Abby. In Florida, near our New Glen Rocket Factory, a special thank you to Grove Park Elementary, Andrew Robinson Elementary, and more. And Patrick, these postcards are coming from all around the world. We've got 13 countries so far. And fun fact, today's flight officially completes the 7th out of 7 continents. We have one postmark from a British research station in Antarctica. Isn't that cool?
That's quite awesome.
Literally,
or cool.
Literally, cool, very cool. If you want to send your postcard to space on New Shepard, visit the club's website for directions. Now, why don't we take a quick breather here and check out New Shepard while she gets ready for her flight. All right, that is a live look at New Shepard about to make her final preparations to go to space and back. Patrick, while we have another moment here, why don't you take us through a profile of the flight today?
Yeah, that sounds great, Ariane. So many of our viewers, I think, are going to recognize this. We've done this again and again as we keep practicing and maturing our suborbital system. So we're going to start out by launching both the booster and the capsule, off of our launch pad. We're going to shoot up quite quickly, and at about 2.5 minutes after launch, we're going to shut down that main engine on the booster. Shortly thereafter, we're going to separate the capsule and the booster. They're going to obviously keep ascending up because of all the speed we've actually been able to impart on them. That's the point, Ariane, where if you and I were in that capsule, we would unstrap and float around and just look out those great windows. Of course, in this flight, Mannequin will stay where he is.
I would do a somersault.
I know you would.
I keep saying that I'm going to do it one day. I promise you.
And then at that point, the booster is going to come back down first because it's more aerodynamically shaped. So it's going to re-enter, and then it'll start slowing itself down, and then about 3,000 feet above the surface, that BE-3 PM engine is going to relight and then gently and very accurately and precisely land that rocket down on the north landing pad. In the meantime, we would get back into our seats and strap back in. The capsule would re-enter, and then after going through the atmosphere, the drogue chutes are going to open up. They're going to help stabilize the capsule, and then they're going to pull the 3 main chutes out. We're going to see 3 great big chutes open, slow down the capsule, and then just before touchdown, we're going to see our terminal descent system shoot out a puff of air, which is going to kick up a lot of dust, but that puff of air is going to allow a pillow soft landing for Mannequin and our future astronauts.
Wonderful. 1 to 2 miles an hour, right? Super soft. Should be another beautiful launch and landing today. Well, I do want, while we have an extra minute here, I do want to talk a little bit about the launch site 1, West Texas. We've talked about this before. It's not only where we launch and land New Shepard, as you were just talking about, but it's also where we test our rocket engines. And I want to cut to a clip, fresh out hot the oven clip of our BE-4 engine test from earlier this week that we've prepared for you. This is our BE-4 engine, 550,000 pounds of thrust. That's in comparison to 110,000 pounds of thrust on the BE-3 engine that's flying today. We also, it's LOX LNG, so it's a different propellant. And here you see it firing. This is one of our 2 test stands. that's down in West Texas. There's some drone footage that we compiled for you. That thing creates quite the rumble down in the valley in Texas. And ultimately, this is going to propel United Launch Alliance's Vulcan rocket, as well as our New Glenn vehicle. There will be 7 of these engines on the base of New Glenn, and that is going to create a rumble down in Florida when we launch New Glenn. So kudos to our engine team for the progress on this groundbreaking engine.
Yeah.
Okay, we're at T-minus 5 minutes and 50 seconds to go until launch. We're getting really close here. So let's do a quick recap of the headlines of today's launch. Today, we're flying upgrades to the astronaut experience inside New Shepard's crew capsule, and we're getting very, very close to flying our first astronaut. So that's why it's critical that we test these systems. Let's do a recap of those. There will be 6 seats on board. Mannequin Skywalker is going to be occupying one of those seats. There will be push-to-talk capabilities in each seat. There'll be speakers to hear mission control throughout the flight. There will be environmental systems, including a cooling system and humidity controls to regulate the temperature inside the capsule. But in particular, that's also going to prevent these big, beautiful windows from fogging up during the flight. We're also testing a crew alert system at each seat, which has important indicators to take you through the entire flight as an astronaut. And last but not least, you've seen in there the white acoustic paneling in there. That's to dampen any engine noises or any sorts of other ambient noises. So in the final moments here, all eyes are on New Shepard. We're at T-minus 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go until launch. Right about now is when she's going to start to come alive. So mission control at T-minus 2 minutes throws the show over to New Shepard, and that's when she goes into autonomous mode from T-minus 2 minutes through launch and landing. So we're going to throw it out to the pad, check out New Shepard here as she gets ready. And the next set that we'll come back for to talk you through are the final hydraulic system checks and the engine gimbal check. All right, everybody, welcome back for New Shepard's 14th mission to space. You see the gantry retracting there. We are getting ready for a launch, Patrick. This is when it gets really exciting. All right, we have thrown the show over to the rocket. She is in autonomous mode right now. We're waiting to see the final hydraulic system checks and engine gimbal check. There you go. You see the aft fins, making sure they've got full clearance there. There are 4 fins on the base of that rocket. You want to check these aerodynamic surfaces and systems before flight. This is just exactly what a pilot does on an aircraft. Waiting here for the engine gimbal check. You see the nozzle there peeking out. There it goes. The engine is also obviously to propel the rocket, but is critical in guiding the rocket on its ascent, but as well as on its descent as it comes into land on the northern landing pad just 2 miles north of where the rocket is taken off from. All right, and that takes us to launch. Let's hand it control. Here we go, New Shepard. Have a great flight, Mannequin Skywalker. Enjoy that shiny new capsule, and we'll see you back home soon at Launch Site 1.
T-minus 16, guidance internal. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Command engine start. 2, 1. Ignition.
Oh, yeah, look at her go. Mission Control has confirmed New Shepard has cleared the tower on her way to space from Launch Site 1 in the West Texas desert with Mannequin Skywalker on board. Right about now, the fins on the aft portion of the vehicle are going to help the vehicle do its roll maneuver. The booster is going to be rolling at about 2 to 3 degrees per second, which equates to a full rotation of the vehicle every 2 to 3 minutes. This, of course, is to give the astronauts a 360-degree view during the flight. All right, coming up here on max Q, maximum dynamic pressure on the rocket is the toughest portion of the flight for the rocket. And we've confirmed max Q. Excellent. All right, you can see on the top right side of your screen, that's where you can follow along as we're gaining speed as she climbs up towards space. In the bottom left corner is the altimeter, noted in feet above ground level, although you may have noticed at liftoff, we were sitting at 3,700 feet above mean sea level. That's the altitude of our West Texas launch site. Now, Mannequin Skywalker, and they're starting to feel those Gs, around 3.5 Gs on the way up to space. It's very similar to a roller coaster, but in that horizontal position of the seats, definitely is a much more comfortable ride. All right, now approaching main engine cutoff, or MECO. So we're going to shut off the BE-3 engine. MECO is confirmed. Now you'll notice that the booster and the capsule are continuing as their combined ascent to space. As you watch the altitude continue to speed is Everybody gets a window seat in the capsule of New Shepard, but now we're making sure everybody gets the perfect view. All right, the two craft are heading back home now. The booster is going to beat the capsule back home. Obviously, it's more aerodynamically shaped, and so it's going to come down first. Right about now, in the next 10 to 15 seconds or so, this is when we expect the rocket to hit atmospheric pierce point. That means that's when it's coming back in, and it's back home from space, and it has enough air pressure upon which it can use its aerodynamic surfaces to push, and that will help guide the rocket back to its landing pad, again, 2 miles north of where it's taken off from. We have confirmation that the wedge fins have been deployed. Those fins are at the forward section, the top section of the rocket. They're housed in the ring fin. They also help provide stability for the rocket as it comes into land. And this booster is screaming home right about now. Its maximum return velocity is just under Mach 4. So we're looking now for the drag brakes to deploy. As soon as those deploy, you'll see the speed come down very rapidly. You're starting to see that in the top right corner there. And then in quick succession, we're going to get the BE-3 engine to restart. The landing gear will deploy, and then the booster will come in for a nice soft touchdown. There are the drag brakes. Engine restart. Landing gear deployed. And touchdown. Welcome back, New Shepard. Oh, you can hear our team back here at headquarters enjoying this moment for this rocket. What a day. Did a nice little maneuver there to bring it back to the center of the pad, but that is what we're looking for. A completely autonomous system, Patrick. That never gets old. That's the type of stuff that makes live rocket launches and landings so exciting.
I know. Every time I see that booster come back, it's just like your heart's in your throat. But it's so exciting to see it actually come back and just perfectly land down there.
Incredible. Kudos to our whole team for adding yet another rocket to our fleet. Wow. Okay. Well, the show is not over.
That's right.
We still are waiting here for the crew capsule to come back. As noted, first the drogue chutes will deploy. Those are like the guide parachutes. The mains will then deploy. You'll also see the mains then inflate to full inflation. And once they're fully inflated, that's when the crew capsule starts to slow down, comes in a nice 15, 16 miles an hour, a nice cruise back home. We'll wait for it to come back in to our valley in West Texas, and it will land. And just as we talked about, just in the last milliseconds, the retro thrust system fires, and it creates a nice air pillow, if you will. So Mannequin Skywalker, by the time he touches down, it's just at about 1 mile an hour. It's a nice, soft touchdown. And there we go. The crew capsule has its mains deployed, fully inflated. What an incredible day for the team. What a beautiful shot. You know, Mannequin Skywalker, I mean, if he had adrenaline, his heart would be thumping pretty hard. What a day. All the way up over the Kármán line and back. coming in for a nice soft cruise back into our West Texas Valley there. Just about 400 feet above ground level. We're waiting for the retrothrust systems to fire, and then a nice soft landing. And touchdown. What a day. What a beautiful shot. Congratulations to all of Team Blue. Really well deserved. This is our 14th mission. A safe landing for the booster, safe landing for the crew capsule. We added a little, we talked about add a little bit of char to the bottom of the that rocket. Came back nice and clean though. Look at that. Absolutely spectacular. Now, if you were an astronaut on board that capsule there, you would have had an incredible ride up over the Kármán line and back. Get the big, beautiful views out of the, we did the 360-degree spin this time. Get your 3 minutes of weightlessness. I can't wait to check out the onboard cameras to see the views that Mannequin Skywalker experienced today. Just what a day.
I know. And how about those drone shots of the rocket and actually the capsule coming down? Those were pretty spectacular.
Those were beautiful. Looks like a nice, clean landing right there in the desert. Everything looks to have gone perfectly today. So our recovery crew is going to be headed out to the crew capsule to open up the hatch, inspect the craft, greet Mannequin Skywalker, and retrieve the postcards on board.
Yeah, I always think about this moment when I try to visualize, what would it be like to actually fly on New Shepard and be coming right back down. And so you've just landed safely, the hatch just opens, and now for the first time you step out of the hatch back onto Earth, and you're an astronaut. And you've seen the Earth from 100 kilometers up from space just moments ago, and now here you are back on it. I mean, that must just be incredible. But this was such an exciting mission, such an exciting day. Let's take a look at some of the replays here to show you that gorgeous takeoff and landing.
There we go, the BE-3 engine firing. 110,000 pounds of thrust, pushing that rocket and the crew capsule up to space. Patrick, I know you've been down there during these launches. The rumble that comes from that engine as the rocket is taking off is just incredible. It shakes your bones.
It really does. And, as it takes off, it goes really fast. There's a lot of rockets where, the ascent is actually quite slow. But this one, I mean, it's flying.
It's going. It's gone.
Yeah, and as we said earlier, today is a huge win, not just for New Shepard, but also for our human landing system and our return to the moon. That BE-3 engine that you see right there, that's a liquid hydrogen, liquid oxygen propellant combination. And that's the same combination that we use on BE-7, our lunar lander engine. And you can right there, you can see that power, when it launches, and you can see that precision when it lands too, right? When you throttle it down, you get that nice precision landing.
Nice soft landing.
And so, if we were just building New Shepard just to do this mission, the suborbital mission, we would have probably chosen, a different propellant type, something much easier to work with. But this combination is just so powerful and so efficient and so useful. We use it on the upper stage of New Glenn, again, in order to get that efficiency. And that's why we're also using it on the BE-7 engine that will power that descent element for the human landing system for NASA's, Artemis program. And, as we all know, there's water ice in the South Pole on the moon. So I imagine one day here in a very near future, when we have built out our South Pole infrastructure on the moon, we're going to be able to use that water, break it down to liquid hydrogen, liquid oxygen, refuel our lander and use it again and again. I mean, that's going to go such a long way to make our sustainable presence on the moon.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see the lunar lander, and then the lunar lander with humans on board, right? Every program here at Blue Origin has been designed for human spaceflight from the very beginning. And as for today's mission, as we mentioned, we flew some upgrades to the astronaut experience inside this capsule that you see on the screen. So we're getting really close to flying humans. We're getting there. And as we watch the recovery team, why don't we run through some of the upgrades that we had on board today? So the capsule that you see there were 6 flight seats on board. Mannequin Skywalker, of course, was in one of them. The speakers in the cabin have a microphone now and a push-to-talk button at each seat so the astronauts can talk to mission control on the ground at all times. We flew the crew alert system, which has a panel on each seat with lights and sounds that convey important safety messages. The wall linings in the capsule help suppress engine and ambient noise for comfortable acoustics inside the cabin.
Mm-hmm.
Also, environmental systems, including a cooling system and humidity controls to regulate temperatures and prevent the capsule windows from fogging up during flight. Of course, when you're up there, you want to see that gorgeous view. So some really exciting stuff. You see there on your screen there, that's our recovery team that has made it out to the capsule. As we mentioned, they're going to open up the hatch, greet Mannequin Skywalker back, and then get those postcards because we want to stamp them flown to space and send them out to all the kids. So before we close out here, I do hear that we have the statistics from today's mission. Why don't we take a look? These, of course, are unofficial statistics. We will release the official statistics after the webcast. So crew capsule apogee, 350,827 feet. Maximum ascent velocity, 2,242 miles per hour. Mission start time, 11:17 a.m. Central Time. Mission elapsed time, 10 minutes and 15 seconds.
That's super inspiring. I mean, it's so exciting to see us be able to, hit these numbers over and over. And, if you were inspired, just like we were super inspired by what you saw here today and want to come help us, build that road to space, we're hiring across all of our locations in the United States. We're hiring for New Shepard, for New Glenn, for engines, and of course, for advanced development programs, for our human landing system. So I encourage everybody to go onto our website and actually go check those listings out.
Come join the team.
Yeah, come join the team. Help us build the roads to space. And of course, you can also commemorate today's launch. You can pick up one of these really cool official New Shepard 14 mission patches and other gear at our shop by going to shop.blueorigin.com. Look at that cool mission patch right there, man. I want to add that to my collection.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't you have all of them?
I do, all of them.
That is really, really cool. Well, I know that there are a lot of folks that want to get their hands on them. So again, please go to that website. All right, that is all from here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in for New Shepard's 14th flight to space. The success of this flight puts us one really big step closer to flying astronauts. And Patrick, there's going to and in the interim, stay safe out there. And as always, Verdatum Ferociter.
That little tease at the end, that was mean, Ariane. I just want, they just stopped the stream. And that's going to do it for boom, done. But that tease at the end. So there's 3 things that we're obviously excited for Blue Origin that we might see this year. Number 1 would be flying humans on New Shepard. Number 2 would be some progress and seeing some new Glenn hardware get out to the pad. I personally don't think we'll see it fly orbitally this year, but we should see the BE-4s fly orbitally this year because the BE-4 engines that are also on New Glenn will be flying on ULA's Vulcan rocket. So we'll see some flight with those engines. Hopefully, the race is on for the first methane-powered orbital rocket because Starship uses methane, New Glenn uses methane, Vulcan uses methane. And the other milestone that we're excited to hear, and I feel like they almost teased it twice now, that they may, if they won the human landing system contract, that would be huge. And just even having those contracts up and ready and showing us who's going to be coming out with these landers and all that stuff, that was awesome. The things I was a little disappointed about today's launch is we didn't see, they kept talking about all these hardware upgrades. Why didn't they show us inside the capsule and give us feeds from inside the capsule? Because that obviously helps us feel like we're there along too. But hopefully they'll release some kind of something on Twitter or YouTube after the fact, and that would be awesome. So very cool. Congrats again to Blue Origin and the teams. We're excited to see what you guys are working on that you hold so tightly because I personally know it's really cool. And I'm excited to have the rest of the world finally catch up to see what you guys are working on too. So let me